All right. Sorry for the late live stream. Hey Doris, how you doing? I got a little, I got sidetracked today. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing such a late live stream. But I felt like I needed to, before I turn in for the night, uh, talk about a few topics that's kind of popped up today in the news. It's kind of on my mind. Some of these things I've been talking about in several live streams. One of them being these lower court district judges that are basically going against the will of the people. We voted President Trump in to do these things that we asked him to do. And all these leftist activist judges, they're being, they're not being judges at this point. They're just, doing activism right on the bench. They can't be doing this. They're doing it. Not that they can't. They shouldn't be. Like today, this D.C. It's either the Southern District of New York or Maine or in D.C. It always seems like in the same areas of the country that these lower district court judges are trying to put a block on everything. Like this Royce Lamberth has ordered two biological men who are transgendered women to be replaced back into the female prisons because their lives are being threatened in the male prisons that they reside in now. Um, and they have to, uh, I guess, in prison, President Trump had them stop the hormone therapy deal to help them continue to transition. I guess part of the ruling of the judges, they have to reinstate that hormone therapy to these two individuals. You know, Congress can fix this. Congress has the power to set a law in place that when a sitting president of the United States makes a executive order, that the only court that can stop that should only be the Supreme Court and not none of these lower district pieces of shit judges. I mean, they make no sense. The rulings. It's like when they tried to have them turn the plane around. They had those 238 uh, gang members, and well, not all of them are gang members, but murderers, rapists, thieves that went to El Salvador. They tried to turn the plane around. All they were looking for was five individuals that somebody had claimed that these people got snatched up, that five of them were actually U.S. citizens and not illegal aliens. Come to find out, those five people were not even on the plane. So it was a whole bunch of bullshit for nothing. It's ridiculous. I mean, when you talk about all this stuff that these judges are trying to do, I mean, they're just being activists at this time. They're not being true to their duties. I mean, between the judges, that some judges are now even complaining that their lives have been threatened. I'm assuming through social media or by phone or whatever. Um, Whoopie doo. Did anybody care when people literally showed up at the houses of the Supreme Court justices when they were uh, doing the revoking of Roe v. Wade? People were actually there to assassinate them at their homes. which is supposed to be against the law to protest in front of a judge's home because you're not supposed to be able to sway their judgment by intimidation. Did Merrick Garland do anything about that? No. So now all these judges that are making these stupid rulings are starting to whine because they're having some blowback. People are making threats. Well, look at all the threats people are making to Elon Musk. I mean, Jasmine Crocket just said her birthday is March 29th, I guess. You know what she wants for her birthday? She wants somebody to take Elon Musk down. She literally said that in her video. That was her birthday present to her if somebody would take Elon Musk out. Why is this woman still a congressperson? Why is she not stripped from her committees? Why is she not sanctioned? I mean, that's dangerous talk. Something needs to be done about that. And I'm hoping that, because these people are dumb. They make these videos. They can't help themselves. They get in front of these cameras and these mics and they just run their freaking mouths. They can't help themselves. They're idiots. What's up, SR? Yeah, and in my last live stream, I said it's time to do something. We are now in a modern day version of Civil War. Sitting on the sidelines is a done deal. Somebody's going to get killed here, and it's going to be somebody innocent. Between all these, 13 dealerships, cars have been set on fire. They've arrested 5 people now, and they're charged them with domestic terrorism. That's 20 years without parole. Now, the left is going to fight that and say that it's not domestic terrorism. It's just, I don't know what you call it. It's more than just vandalism. Vandalism is if you key somebody's car. That's vandalism. But setting these cars on fire and having them explode because they are electric vehicles. The batteries in these vehicles are hazardous. So it's more than just vandalism. It is a form of domestic terrorism. And I hope that it goes through and that's what they do get charged with. And I hope they get convicted of it. But that's only 5 that they found. 13 dealerships so far have had this done. I said yesterday, we need to form neighborhood watches again. MAGA needs to come together. You need to put posts in your local Facebook, your area, your town. Every town has a Facebook page. Post in there about getting together as a group, having a meeting. Become a neighborhood watch. Go watch these dealerships. Take shifts. Do your part. Everybody says, well, yeah, these things all got cameras. They do. You know what it does? It just shows you that somebody's doing it. Most of them, they're smart enough that they cover themselves well enough that you don't know who they are. So all the cameras are doing is showing, oh, yeah, okay, yeah. Now we know how they set that car on fire. You know what I mean? That's all that it shows. They need to be caught in the act. Now, I ain't saying confront them. That's truly a personal decision. But more than likely, being MAGA, the courts would not favor us very well, especially because most of these dealerships are going to get burnt in a blue area. So if you live in a blue area and you do this, it could cause you problems. All I'm saying is go and observe. See something, say something. Call the police. Keep an eye on them. See what they pulled up in. If they walked up, if they drove up, get as much information as possible from a distance. But get enough information to be able to uh, have the police have the ability to arrest somebody. And so Pam Bondi and them can press charges for domestic terrorism and send these assholes to prison for 20 years where they belong. I mean, innocent people in Teslas are getting flipped off at traffic lights. Their cars are getting keyed. A guy just the other day reached in his shorts and dug in his ass and pulled out a wad of shit and smeared it on a Tesla. Now, domestic terrorism? Probably not. Gross? Hell yeah. This dude ought to have something done to him. And the thing is this guy was an idiot. He just walked up and did it. He is very recognizable. So they'll be able to find that individual. But it's a misdemeanor what he did. But still, this is how deranged these people are. Look at the swatting that's been going on. You know, over 30 people have been swatted in the last week. Somebody's going to get killed. And that's what they want. This is a modern day version of Civil War, people. There's no longer can you sit on the sidelines. You've got to do your part. We have to do our part. There's all these scheduled protests all over the country this coming up week for anti-Elon Musk protests. I say, let's push back. If you have a protest in your area, if you've got a group and you're organizing a group of you guys in your area, go and be a counter protester to them. Don't let them just run their mouth and have no opposition. Those days are done. We cannot just let them do this, because most of them, they're not organic protests. Most of them are being paid to be there. It's time to do something. It really is. I mean, between that, and I mean, they even found, they got one guy that even had a pipe bomb at one of these Tesla dealerships. Somebody's going to get killed. Then it'll be too late. You can replace people's property. You can pay restitution. You can even show remorse later and apologize. But when a life is lost, there's no coming back from that. Now, I know it's late, and I don't expect a lot of people to see this as a live stream, but hopefully they'll watch the recorded version of this, because people like Jasmine Crocket, something needs to be done to that woman for sure. Now, today, President Trump signed an executive order to close the Department of Education. Finally. I'm hearing all these arguments against it. Oh, it's another constitutional crisis. It was a U.S. president that put this department in place back in 1979, Jimmy Carter. It was a Democrat idea. Well, we've given it enough years to know that it didn't work. It's a failed department. It's a failed experiment. Whatever you want to call it, it failed. So people who says, well, and I got a video. This young lady kind of like played devil's advocate and the explanation at the same time. So I'm going to play this video. And she talks about the closing of the Department of Education, all these people who are, doing their scare tactics about things that are going to be not able to be done now that the Department of Education is going to be gone. Not true. President Trump set up things in place to the essential stuff that still needs to be handled and paid for. is being routed to other departments in the government. So I'm going to play that. And then I've got one more thing I want to talk about after I play this. And it's comes from Paul Harvey. Y'all remember Paul Harvey if you're old enough? Because he tells you the rest of the story. I used to watch him all the time. But right now, let's watch this young lady explain the closing of the Department of Education.
The Department of Education is going to have horrific implications. So I actually think this is going to be super beneficial for us. But like, what are your concerns? Kids are going to lose access to their breakfast and lunch programs. That's huge. The kids have to eat. But thankfully, that's already funded by the Department of Agriculture. Okay, but what about the special needs children? What about the children who need IEPs and special education services? What about them? Super important, and I fully agree with you that we need to protect these children. However, all of that is being moved to the Department of Health and Human Services, so none of that is going away. Okay, whatever, but what about the grants and scholarships? What about the Pell Grants? Where do those come from? Yeah, absolutely. You know, I was on a Pell Grant myself, and I understand the importance of having these grants and scholarships available, but thankfully, all of that is being transferred to the Department of Treasury. Whatever, okay, we need more funding, not less. You know, more money is just, it's not always the answer. Interestingly enough, adjusted for inflation even, the Department of Education's budget has grown from $14 billion to $80 billion in recent years, while student outcomes have actually gotten worse. Not just that, but nationwide, less than 32% of our children are proficient in reading and less than 1% are proficient in math. The system is failing our children. It's time for it to go.
So I think she explained that pretty good. I like playing some of these videos because they articulate things a lot better sometimes than I do myself. But I know this. So the Department of Education, everybody, see what's going to happen is the federal money's still going to be there. But now they're going to lay the blame if our students, our children, still come up with failing grades going forward on the states. And then the government and these other departments will be able to control that money and say, hey, you're failing your students. Why should we give you more federal funding if you can't even have your students do reading, writing, and arithmetic? These students are being taught everything but anymore. All this CRT and DEI and transgender education and all these other things that really has nothing to do with the purpose of going to school. You go to school to learn basic things to get you through life. That's what school is about. It sets you up for success. Today's schooling sets you up for failure, all the way up through college. I mean, most of the demographics that oppose Donald Trump are college-educated white women. And college-educated white men approve more of Donald Trump than that do not. And non-college educated men and women both have a higher approval of Donald Trump. It's the college educated white women that is the most negative towards. And if you watch all these videos, most of them, that's what they are. It's these libtard college educated females that get on these TikTok videos and all these other social media platforms and does some of the most ignorant stuff. I mean, I seen a video today of this woman literally screaming and crying because she saw a Tesla truck today. She wanted the Tesla vehicles out of her city, out of her state, out of her country. Teslas don't deserve to be in this country. Is this bitch crazy? Tesla is the most advanced electric vehicle on the planet. What happened to all these climate change, social justice warriors? They drank the Kool-Aid. A lot of them that actually believe this stuff are believing that Elon Musk is doing something nefarious when we all know he's not. It's something that this country needs. So it's been a plan for a long time. This ain't something that just happened the last 4 years, although it went full speed the last 4 years. This is something that's been happening for a very, very long time. And I got one more video I want to play because I don't want this live stream to be too long tonight. But I want to play this video. It's from the Joe Rogan show, but they played a clip from the Paul Harvey show back in 1965. 60 years ago. The information that he says in this video, it has all come true. It has all come true. It's an eerie feeling to hear what he has to say and know that it was said 60 years ago. So I'm gonna play it. Y'all see what I'm saying when you watch it. I gotta go find it.
Back in the 60s or 70s, and he equated it to the devil. But he did a radio piece on how to destroy America, the social fabric of it.
Wow!
And it's as though somebody just took America, the social fabric of America, from the late 60s to today, and the timeline of the things that he said. It's pretty wicked. It's pretty powerful.
Wow! If I were the Prince of Darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness. And I'd have a third of its real estate, 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a camp of whispers. With the wisdom of the serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. Wow. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions, just let those run wild. Wow. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug sniffs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door.
Holy shit.
Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own church would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against schemes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
What year was that?
It was 65. But
Holy shit.
1965.
That's amazing. 65. Wow. April 3rd, 1965. Paul Harvey nailed it.
"60 years ago." Did it sound familiar? Scary, isn't it? A message from 60 years ago has rung never more true than it is right now. We're in a civil war, people. They're wanting to take us out. They're wanting to change our way of life. Because I've said it before, of course they said it more eloquently in this video. You got people who haves and have nots. Now, when I say those who have and those who have not, and those who have not want what somebody else has, I don't always mean money, because I'm not rich. But what I have is a peace of mind and a fulfillment of patriotism and love for this country. So I feel like I have something that these libtards don't have. They don't know how to get it because their minds are weak. So the have-nots, they want to take from everybody else without earning it because the government has told them they could. It's the way to be. It's the way it should be. You can't help it because you don't want to get off your ass and go earn more money. Of course, in the beginning, the government took that away from you because they allowed all these other countries to take our manufacturing jobs and the ability for the middle class to be the highest tax base in this country. Back in the 70s, the highest tax base came from the middle class. Now it comes from the top 5%. They've been doing this for a very long time to us, people. I think we're on the right path to turning it around, but it's going to take more than this 4 years, and it's going to take us not sitting on the sidelines. Get up, organize, push back, form these neighborhood watches I've been talking about. Help support. I've said in the past, defend Elon Musk. Help support Elon Musk. Show him that the Americans who are for him have just allowed his voices as all these libtards that are against him, because they're a small group, but they're a loud group. You know, all these like LGBTQ plus AA, whatever, that's a small group of people, but they've expected, and our government has helped them do it, change what we think is the right thing to do, like keeping men out of women's and girls' sports and locker rooms and bathrooms. You know, just a few years ago, that was just common sense. Now you're some kind of an evil person that you disagree with that you disagree with them wanting to do that. Like this judge wanting to put those two biological men back into women's prisons because they're transgender women. I say bullshit. It's time to push back. We are larger in number. They don't know that because they don't see us. Because we are not loud like they are. It's time to get loud. It's time to get obnoxious. It's time to push back. There's so many little things we can do. Like the neighborhood watch to help out with Elon Musk and his dealerships, and maybe a neighbor with a Tesla. See something, say something. Record it. Because I know I've said it in my town. We don't have a lot of recorded evidence of some of the bullshit with the Haitians that's went on in my town. Because it's a lot of the older population just honestly never thought to pull the phone out and record things. It took these young YouTubers that has caught a lot of this and has got videos out there of the very things that we were saying that was happening here. Do what you can. Use social media to help organize. It's time for us to be louder than they are. And it's easy to do if we got the will, because we are larger in number. We are MAGA. Now, when I say that with the utmost pride. Because I used to call myself Republican. I'm ashamed of a lot of the Republicans in our government. But I ain't ashamed to say MAGA. We've got to do something. If we don't push back, people are going to die. That's not hyperbole either. That's not a false argument or protest that these people like to say every time a conservative wants something done or something removed from government because it doesn't work. Somebody's going to die. It's a constitutional crisis. Whatever. Any other stupid thing they try to say to fearmonger. This is serious because you got a sitting congresswoman, and she's not the only one, but she's one of the most recent ones that got in front of a camera and made a video and said it's her birthday come March 29th, and her birthday present, she would like somebody to put Elon Musk down. Now, this woman is a representative of Texas, where Elon Musk employs thousands of Texans. Tells you how ignorant they are, doesn't it? But they're dangerous ignorant. Because what she's doing is fake raids, and she knows it. But she's going to convince those weak-minded people that just listens and watches the headlines and believes everything that they're told. They call us a cult. We're no damn cult. We all have various opinions all over the place. We're probably one of the most researching this group of people you'll ever meet. A cult. We're not a cult. We're American. We think things should be back more to a correct version of America. We're not a cult. We are MAGA. And if we get up and push back, MAGA is not a group you want to fuck with. That's all I've got to say tonight. I hope you take this message and think about it. Share it with somebody. Paul Harvey said it best. And he said it 60 years ago, people. And it's come true. Almost every single thing he said 60 years ago, they're doing today. So share this. Anybody who watches this as a video and you're not following me, I'm on Rumble. Even if you follow me on YouTube, follow me on Rumble, because I'm going to do Rumble only content to where we can have these conversations that's more raw than what we're having right now. Because I have a lot more to say, and I'm not going to be too damn polite about it when I say it, because things have to be said. Some tough conversations have to be had. Can't have that on YouTube. But if you still wish to subscribe to me on YouTube, Jimmy Pockets will be the YouTube channel to subscribe to. The other channel I'm no longer going to be doing politics on. But if you want real conversation, not just a message I'm trying to get across, I mean some hard conversations. Rumble's where it's going to be. So saying that, I appreciate those who tuned in to watch this live tonight. Organize. See something, say something. Push back. Pay attention. Don't be silent no more. Can't afford it. So saying that, my name is James. Sorry, I lost my voice there. My name is James. And till next time, I'm out of here.